And originally, me and my producing partner Luke and Joe were coming on board to help them get it made. But I read it and I fell in love with it so much, and I was like, "Hey, I have a vision for it. I know
Dibs.
exactly how."
Dibs.
Yeah, please. Yeah, me.
So, thanks so much for joining me today. I've got Babak Anvari talking about Hallow Road, which comes to AMC on October 31st, 2025, just in time for Halloween. It is a dramatic thriller that has a fantastic cast, a really great writing, and a really kind of interesting story with plenty of mystery. I am excited to talk to you about this. I'm excited to hear more about how this film came to life. So, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk to you about it as well.
Of course, of course. So, first question, how did this script come across your desk? How did this story catch your vision or catch your eye?
Of course. So the script was written by it's a first time writer, like feature writer, fresh out of film school. William Gillies wrote the script with another producer, Ian Henry. They developed it, and I got it. And originally, me and my producing partner Luke and Joe were coming on board to help them get it made. But I read it and I fell in love with it so much, and I was like, "Hey, I have a vision for it. I know
Dibs.
exactly how."
Dibs.
Yeah, please. Yeah, me. And then so I pitched my ideas for it to William, the writer, and luckily he responded so well, and that's how it all started. And to be fair, the one of the big elements of it when I was reading it was the fact that it's set almost entirely in a car, and I was like, how can I maintain tension as a filmmaker for that long period inside a car? And that was like one of the hooks, as well as like the fascinating characters and the opportunities that are presented. That like the opportunities that I found in the script, like as a filmmaker, like to be a little bit more experimental, both in terms of filmmaking and storytelling. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's kind of like the typical road trip problem of like, you're gonna start out, have a ton of conversation, but after a little bit, like, is it gonna fall flat, or is there gonna be enough new aspects thrown in to keep the audience's interest? Which I think this film does. You kind of learn little pieces here and there throughout. But yeah, my next question was gonna be, was it always this kind of like conversational style film? Like it reminded me a lot of Locke. I don't know if you've seen Locke before, but
Yeah.
similar idea. Like it's kind of a challenge to have a single person or a couple people in a car and everything is kind of happening off screen and still maintaining the audience's interest and kind of like maintaining that tension like you said.
Thank you. Yeah, Locke was an inspiration, but in a way, because I love that film, I was like, I want to see how can I t take it even further and be more inside the car, and the car almost becoming a representation of the this sort of anxious psyche of this couple. And really playing with that, and as the film develops, all we get it more and more into this anxious psyche and becomes more and more expressionistic visually and sound wise. Those were the things that got me very excited. And to set, it's very subtle. We shot everything outside of the car on 60 mm
Oh
film,
wow.
and then the moment you go through the windshield and you enter the car, it switches to digital and becomes colder and crisper. And I did that even, like if people are not technical minded, I just did that because I thought subconsciously people potentially pick up that there's two different worlds here. So yeah, those were the fun things we were like trying to do with this film.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's awesome. That's a great little like, just a little piece that, people notice. They'll, it'll separate those worlds a little more. And if people don't, it still looks fine. It still looks great. So I love that little touch right there.
yeah.
I also love, it feels like there's some kind of like light supernatural elements in this. I'm curious, was that always part of the script, or did you kind of like adapt that as you were trying to like explain how this story would progress and maybe add a couple more elements to keep the audience's interest?
This was something I brought. The original script that William wrote was a lot more grounded, but for me, it presented this opportunity to sort of like I said, like make it. a bit more psychological horror rather than just thriller, and experiment with that, and add elements that, without spoiling too much, that sort of makes you question, because it does become a little bit fairy tale like.
Yeah, I was thinking like Faye kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I always say there's like the line between psychology and mythology is so thin that they become almost blend into one another. And this film gave me the opportunity to do that. And the idea that they're going into a forest, and forest is always like represented like a lot of stories, like
Mhm.
this magical, mysterious place that can be representation of the unconscious as well. So that's why, like, I dipped my toes a little bit in like sort of that sort of folk horror sort of area. But yeah, that was all done on purpose.
Uh,
And I don't know what's your policy on spoilers? How do they get
Hey,
warned?
I mean, yeah, I'll put a warning up. If you want to talk spoilers, we can talk spoilers. That's fine. I'll put a warning up.
Well, I don't want to spoil it too much, but I also encourage people to, once the film ends, maybe they read the first, at least the first few cards. They don't, don't rush out of cinema. At least read the first few cards, because there's a surprise there that a lot of people might have instinctively picked up on it, but like it gives you an information that like make some people rethink the film.
Oh, interesting. All right, yeah, I'll go back and rethink that too.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll tell
you
you,
know,
I'll tell you after we stop recording.
okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So, a big draw of this film is the cast. I mean, it's a small cast, but small but mighty cast. How did you get Rosamund and Matthew involved? Did you work with them before, or was this just kind of like throwing out the script and you got some amazing actors to come in?
No, it was basically when I very early on, those were the two names that I was like, they would be perfect as Maddie and Frank. And we approached Rosamund first, and luckily she read the script and responded to it, and we had a long conversation about what it means, and what I'm trying to achieve. And yeah, she got as excited as me. And I remember on that first call, she asked, "Who do you see as Frank, playing the husband?" And I said Matthew Rhys, because I'm a big fan of the Americans. And yeah, this is the first time they worked together, but she had a call with Matthew just to sort of like sort of like initial sort of chat. And I remember she sent me a text saying, I found a great dance partner in Matthew, which was
Oh,
so lovely
nice.
because they
That's
have to
awesome.
do this nice dance together. So yeah, that it all worked out. So honestly, I was so lucky to get the cast I wanted.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And Rosamund kind of had double duty. She also had some voice work as well. So
That's the thing. I was like
Ah,
saying that, like, you need to read the end
I
credits,
see.
because that again, big spoiler alert, but for me, that line in the script, which was always there, that was the starting point. Like, no parent wants to be the child's monster. And I was like, whoever's
Ah.
doing the voice on the other end needs to be voiced by the same actors, because it's almost like the couple on the other end become like a shadow side, the witchy side of the parents, which fascinated Rosamund as well. And she's done an incredible job performance-wise, like, I think, catching both. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know. I had to look at the credits and I was like, oh, like that's amazing. Like you get this great actor and then she gets double duty to performing other parts too. That was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
Um, Also, it feels like this film has kind of like an ending and then there's an additional scene after. Make sure to stay for that because that scene adds more to the story. Was that always part of it, the aftermath kind of scene, or did you add that to kind of like drive home some of the points that the main film had?
You mean the bit when we go outside of the car again at the very end?
Yeah, yeah, the I
Yeah, no,
guess.
that was always like sort of that was basically the epilogue of the film. So it was necessary, because that's when you start to sort of think, did something strange or supernatural happen? Was it a representation of the trauma? What, like, you start like sort of like dissecting it. But I used to always tell to Rosamund as well, no matter what happened, whether whether something strange and supernatural is happening, whether it's we're seeing a representation of this sort of anxiety and trauma, it was real for these parents, and I think that's the thing we were trying to depict in the film. So yeah, no, that was always in the shooting script.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I took
Yeah.
it and went like even more supernatural from that. So I like that there's multiple interpretations you could get from the story and the way that the thing ended.
I love that because when the film, when I meet people at festivals or like after certain viewings, there's some people really are adamant that it's a supernatural tale. Some people think it's more psychological, and I love that. I mean, this is why we designed it on purpose to sort of sit in that liminal space. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. I
Yeah.
know we have limited time and I have a very busy schedule. I'm going to switch to a lightning round of just lightweight questions about the film. Want to see how your personal experiences map to things in the movie? Feel free to skip any of them. I will not be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable.
Okay, great.
First question. This film kind of starts with Alice getting her car stuck. Have you ever gotten your car stuck somewhere in the snow, in a ditch, anything like that?
I don't drive, but I've been in a car that got stuck. I don't even have a license.
So yeah, you're just stuck. If you get in the car, you're like, I can't go. I can't do anything.
I can't. Yeah, I'm stuck. I'll die.
I love it. This movie also involves, a place in the forest where kids go to do bad things. Did you have a place that you would go to when you were young to kind of like experiment or do things your parents didn't want, or maybe you were a good kid and you heard about a place like that?
Oh, we all had those types of places, but I don't want to tell where it was because if my mom ever listens to this, we get very disappointed.
That's good. Yeah, yeah. Keep it secret. You don't want her to know.
Exactly.
Um, this movie also has Alice kind of getting lost in the forest. Have you ever gotten like lost in a forest, got turned around? I mean, it's easy, especially this place. This forest looked dense, it
Yeah.
looked dark. Have you ever gotten kind of like lost in a forest or somewhere unfamiliar?
I've got lost before, especially as a kid. Once I got lost in a playground, which was pretty horrifying. I did get with a friend momentarily lost in a forest once, and it was quite scary. But yeah, we found our way. Yeah, forests are strange places. This is why I
Yeah.
use Blair Witch Project as a reference for this film as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, once you kind of get into the forest, it's like, magical. It's like ancient. It has like a mystery about it that
Exactly.
is kind of inherent.
Yeah.
This movie also involves, calling the ambulance, calling the police. Have you ever had to call an ambulance for any reason? Maybe not car related, but sometime in your life.
Yeah, I have. I saw an accident outside my house. So yeah, I had to call the emergency services. There was a lot of questions. I was like, "This is an accident. This is urgent." Like you're spending like 10 minutes asking all these questions. But yeah, eventually they showed up. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you're like, I don't know anything else. It's out here. I saw it. I'm reporting
I,
it.
exactly. I'm reporting it. Just get here.
That happened to me one time. A car accident happened right in front of me, and the person drove off. So I like got the license plate, and then like had to call. I was in the middle of a road, and I was like calling. I was like, I don't know what the local police station is because I'm driving somewhere, but I have this information. Can I please report it? And they had to like transfer me a couple places.
So
So
hopefully you didn't forget the license plate by then.
no, no, I memorized it, and I think I wrote it in my phone just to make sure.
Amazing.
Um, this movie also has, some parents trying to help their child out. Have you ever had to cover for a child? I don't know if you have children, one of your children, or maybe like a friend's child. Have you ever had to cover for them to make sure that they didn't get in trouble?
Not quite in a serious way, like what happens in the film, but I always have my, I'm quite sort of paternal. I've heard like I don't have children of my own, but like with my friends' children, I always try to look after them and be there for them. Yeah, so yeah, and I'm a godfather to a friend's child, so yeah, trying my best.
All right, yeah. Hopefully you'll never have to cover in the way that they do in this
Yeah,
film, but you
exactly.
never know.
Yeah, yeah.
And the last question, this movie involves a late night call to Alice's parents to try to have them come help her bail her out. Have you ever had to call your parents? It doesn't have to be late night, but to bail you out of something, some situation, some predicament?
I'm trying to. I'm pretty sure I have a few times. Also, these like sometimes I've called them to make sure they're okay. It's because I'm I'm a man full of anxiety. So this is why I make these type of films because I like to inflict them my anxieties onto others. It's cathartic.
Yeah,
But yeah,
pull everyone down into your world just so that they can
exactly,
experience it.
exactly.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you're taking care of your parents. I mean, that's it's important, especially I assume your parents are older. As they get older, you want to make sure that they have everything that they need and that they're still doing well.
exactly, exactly.
So the film is coming to AMC on October 31st, 2025. You are out promoting the film, getting the word out. But after people see Hallow Road, is there anything else they can look forward to from you? Do you have any other projects on the horizon?
I always have a few things in the pipeline. It really depends which one goes, and hopefully the stars will align, and I'll be shooting my next one very soon. But it's movie business. There are always like so many moving factors. So, but yeah, hopefully very soon. Yeah, I'll be getting busy on my next one.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is up in the air until it's actually there, until you're like set there and filming, and everything could, go anyway.
Yeah,
So
everything could fall apart. I always say I only believe it when I'm there shooting. Even then, it could fall apart. So maybe I only believe it when it's in the can.
yeah, when you actually have your premiere, then you're like, okay, it's finally done.
It's
So
finally done. Yeah,
you
exactly.
can wait for future projects if they all come through. But before that, check out Hollow Road coming to AMC on October 31st, 2025. This is Babak Anvari. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, David. It was lovely chatting with you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. It was a lot of fun.
Speak soon.
All right.